I'm just going to basically express some things that I've been thinking about in the past 24 hours, actually the past 48 hours since the election, and things that have been going on. I've just left another one of my substitute teaching assignments at Grant Elementary, located in Melrose Park, working for District 88 today. Um, Hopefully, it's not my last day since I do start my new job tomorrow. What I'll do is I'll probably work there on days that I can, because I don't want to give up working for the kids and things like that. But I do really need to focus on moving on this career to the next level and doing things and finding a job that can actually help me pay back some of these student loans. So, I got a lot of money I got to pay back to the government, but that's besides the point. Today, I really want to look at the issue that I think that may be at the core of some of the expectations that we've been having for some of our businesses, some of our government officials, and people that we really look up to. One of the things that I've noticed is the idea of self-interest. And a lot of people look at self-interest as a negative thing, but I really don't. I think self-interest can be a good thing if it is observed and monitored and kept in check. We have to make sure that we're keeping people responsible and ethical. So this morning, as I was on my way to work, and I didn't get a chance to put this journal in earlier, but what I really realized is early on, when I first started getting jobs, I was really a poor employee, and I don't know how many times I can stress this. And it was only because I went back to school and I really got educated on how this society really works, taking psychology courses, business courses, and things that were helping to open my mind to the realities in which I live. Also, of course, my Christianity plays a huge part in it. But even in that, in my early Christian days, I really had a really mixed up and bad perspective. It wasn't really until I started reading catechisms and started really digging into the Bible and what does the Greek really mean and what does the Hebrew mean and studying history and then putting all this in perspective with my true educational background and everything that I was learning there. Crossing T's, dotting I's, taking management classes, English classes, taking psychology classes, taking accounting classes, and I really began to understand that this world really did not revolve around me. That was the first thing, and it's not like I was really even thinking like that in my earlier days, but I realized later, and as I got more information as to how this society works, I began to realize that even though I didn't say it outwardly, I was really believing this inside. So this is where I want to begin. I started thinking about the fact that in reality, we are all looking out for our own self-interest. I really want to really stress that to the highest degree. You hear people saying that you should just do a job for enjoyment or find a career that you enjoy, and that is true. That makes a lot of sense. But when it comes down to it, if I go to work and my boss doesn't pay me at the end of the week, I'm going to be very angry, I'm going to want to sue, and I'm not going to want to work there. I'm going to be disappointed. So when you look at that, in this society that we're in this current economy that we're in, where there are a lack of jobs, you could see why people are angry. They put in work, they put in years, and now they have nothing. Banks got a bailout. A lot of government organizations are getting bailed out. Right now, they're contemplating whether or not to bail out California, the state. So when you look at all these things, you begin to find out that at the core is something that we don't want to always discuss and look at ourselves in the mirror and say is part of our reality and part of our DNA. And that's our self-interest. We are all interested in survival. We are all interested in making sure that we have a home to live in, clothes on our back, food in our stomach. I know we have people out there that are campaigning saying, I want to help the poor, and I want to do this, and I want to do that. But then ask these politicians, these very same politicians, just like they're asking right now. I hear a lot of political pundits asking this question. Okay, you know we have to cut the budget. You know we have to stop spending. You don't want to raise taxes. What are you going to cut? People don't want to talk about cutting things like Medicare. People don't want to talk about cutting things like defense spending. People don't want to talk about that because that can be the end of a political career. So you have businesses out there yelling at the politicians that they need to get their political house in order, not thinking about the fact that these politicians, that is their life. Their job is to convince the people to elect them, and then in some cases convince the people to re-elect them. If they don't get elected and they don't get re-elected, their political career does not exist. Now let's take the other side, the businesses and their self-interest. Businesses, they'll try to say, well, we're all in it to develop the greatest product for our customer. We love our employees. But in reality, is that what their interest is? Unfortunately, true businesses have one goal, and that's to increase the bottom line. If the businesses are not increasing the bottom line and the politicians are not getting elected, then you have a problem. So when I was really considering this morning, I realized that we as individuals in America, we have a problem. When the businesses and the government are at odds with each other, the American people are going to suffer because the politicians are trying to get elected or re-elected. The businesses are trying to make money, and the individuals are in the middle. Now, there is a relationship that the individual has to each one of these entities. The individual has a relationship with the business in the fact that we are their customer and we are their employee. But when you look at it, that's a relationship that only exists in this fashion. The businesses produce and we consume. Or the businesses produce and they hire us. So the business production is directly related to us having good products or us having jobs, period. They produce, they make the money. We are the benefactors of both ends of the business, meaning we benefit from jobs and we benefit from the products or services that the businesses offer. And the relationship we have with the government is in that we actually are not working for them, but they're working for us. They are our employees. I don't know if people really get that. The government works for us. And if the government works for us, that means that we have to voice our opinion and we have to voice our concerns to them, letting them know what we want and where we want them to do it. If we're doing that properly and they're doing their job, then everything is fine. If we're doing our job with the businesses and the businesses are doing their job in providing the businesses, providing the jobs and the services, then they're okay. Now here's what, like I want to repeat. When the businesses and the government are at odds, the individuals suffer because politicians want to get reelected. So they're going to rant and rave about what they think the businesses are not doing. But the businesses are going to rant and rave about what the politicians are not doing, and that they're trying to stop them from hiring. When it's partly true on both ends, but here it is. We get caught in the middle. So when the businesses and the government are at odds, individuals suffer. But here's something that I want to throw in there that is another dilemma. When the businesses and the government are in cahoots with each other, the individuals suffer. What that tells me is that now the businesses and the government are working hand in hand to do things that we did not require them to do. So what are we going to do about that? This is what I'm seeing. The businesses have one responsibility to the people that we must make sure that they're doing. And that responsibility is to be ethical. Is to be right and to be forthwith with what they're providing, what they're offering. We have to be like what Solomon says in the Bible. Let the buyer beware. The business has to tell us all the information we need about the product, the service, the job that they're giving us, or whatever. And we have to really investigate that, making sure that we are doing what we're supposed to be doing and we're being diligent. The government owes us one thing. And that thing that the government owes us is to not overtax us and not overspend what we have given them as employees of the people. When the businesses are being held to a level of accountability and ethics, and the government is keeping their budgets in order, and when they're doing that which we are requiring them to do, then we will have an efficient and a very prosperous economy. Period. We can't let the businesses exert themselves and begin to be unethical and do things that they're not supposed to be doing. And we can't let the government overextend itself to the point that it begins to ask how much more money can they take from us as individuals. Makes no sense. Both of these entities have self-interest. They have the interest of making money, or they have the interest of being elected or reelected. As individuals, we have to have that very same mindset, and we have to begin to do the same thing. Take self-interest. Self-interest will come in the form of educating ourselves as far as the information and the policies and the procedures. Information will then give us the ability to make informed decisions about what the politicians we want to vote for look like, or the businesses we want to work for look like, or the businesses that we want to participate in, that we want to buy things from, that they exist as individuals. And let's get this right. The politicians and the business owners come from the very same group. We're all individuals first. We all have self-interest. So when we sit there, when we cry and we complain about what businesses are doing, what jobs we don't have, what things they're not doing, we're causing more of the problem. What we have to do is realize the role that these entities play, and then begin to hold them accountable for what they are supposed to be doing. The business is not does not exist to make you happy. The government doesn't exist to make you happy, nor does it exist to make me happy. They exist to do their job, and we have to hold them accountable to that which they are supposed to be doing. That is what I was thinking about. We have to make sure that as they are looking out for their own self-interest, we are looking out for our own self-interest. Not in a negative way that we're overstepping our bounds. We all have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We don't want government overextending. We don't want the judicial branch overextending. We don't want the Congress overextending. We don't want businesses overextending. We don't want people polluting our air, but yet at the same time, we don't want to pretend like we don't want the products and the services that they're offering. We have to be realistic about how this really works. So this is what I'm going to challenge every American to do. Be American. Be realistic about what you want. Be realistic about what you're willing to do. Be realistic about the things you can accept and the things you can't accept. Let people do their jobs. Let the government govern. Let businesses pursue their interests. If we do these things right, we will have a prosperous society. That is what I'm thinking about, and that's my point of view in business. That's my outlook. Again, wish me luck on my new job tomorrow.